Tonight on Tabletop Commander, we're going to find out how to build a budget EDH deck. Hi everyone, and welcome to a special video. I've been getting a lot of requests for how to build budget versions of the decks that I have posted, or I'm in a couple of EDH groups on Facebook, and everybody's like, oh, does anybody have a deck list of a budget deck, in such and such colors or whatever. And I decided it would be a good idea for me to tell you that you don't need a deck list. You can easily make a good budget deck on your own without help from anybody else, and you can do it mostly with the cards that you already have. It's really not that difficult. First, I would like to say that the best thing to do for budget is to start with a pre-constructed deck. These decks pretty much have the best commanders. If you look at a tier list of the best top commanders in the format right now, and a lot of the ones on the list are out of the pre-constructed decks. So for $34.99 or whatever it is, you can easily go and get a pre-constructed deck, and most of them are ready to go right out of the box and don't really need anything more than a good set of sleeves on them. And then you can go from there, take one card out, add a new card as time and the budget permits, and there you go. And it's really as simple as that. But if it's your absolute intention to make a deck from scratch, or you've already gone the pre-constructed route and you want to try the scratch route, I'm going to tell you some good tips that I use, and you can go from there. First I'm going to say that color matters. It's a lot easier to do a single color or a two-color deck in that you can get away with just basic lands and not a lot of mana rocks and that sort of thing either. All of my one and two color deck use almost entirely basic lands. You don't need to spend money on shock lands or dual lands or whatever else is really out there. You could just pretty much get away with just the basic lands. If you have to go three colors, or you really want to go three colors, I should say, my advice would be to make one of those colors green. Green is the easiest color to color fix, obviously. You have cards like Cultivate and Kodama's Reach, Far Wanderings, Rampant Growth, and so on. So you could make your deck, say, half or two-thirds green lands, and then make the rest the other two colors, and then use the green to get your other two colors going without the need of, again, shock lands or fetch lands or dual lands or anything along those lines. So those are my two biggest tips. Go with the pre-constructed, or restrict how many different colors you use, because once you get into 4 and 5 color decks, you're really going to have to spend some money on lands. Otherwise, your decks are going to be slow or unreliable or inefficient. And if you don't want to go with green, my next suggestion would be blue. Blue has a lot of great draw. You can have Brainstorm and a lot of cards that will let you scry. So it's really easy with blue. You can go like blue-green, black, or blue-green-red. Red is a very inexpensive color as well. It doesn't have a lot of mana fixing, but most of the cards are pretty cheap. Unless you want to start getting in a Blood Moon and crazy stuff like that, it's really not expensive at all. So with that, the next thing you want to do is figure out who your commander is going to be. A lot of times I just go online to one of the many EDH websites, and I see what everybody else is building. Or I'll type in to Google, see what other people are building. I'll type in EDH, Mizzix, or if I want to see what goes in like a specific commander like Mizzix, or I'll type in EDH Jeskai if I want to do a Jeskai deck, or green black blue or whatever, and see what everybody else is playing. A lot of commanders, as long as they're not being used in standard or modern, are really, really inexpensive. So you could definitely get away with cards like Alicia Who Smiles at Death. I have an Alicia deck. It's on my YouTube. It's my version's not cheap. I use Elish Norn, I use dual lands, I use fetch lands, the off-color fetch lands too at that. So my version of the deck is not cheap, but it's really easy to make a version of that deck that's very inexpensive. Use like cards like Siege Gang Commander and Newsgraph Mob from Eldritch Moon, and pretty much just fish out of the dollar bin. There's great dollar rares and uncommons and stuff that'll fit in that deck. Basically, you want anything with a enter the battlefield effect, and there you have it. It's really as simple as that. And Alicia Who Smiles at Death herself is only like a $2 card. So with that, you can either do that, search the internet, search the dollar bin at your local gaming store, or you could just go through your collection and see what you have. Maybe you have a good legendary card from a draft or whatever that might be a $10 or a $20 card, and you can use it as a commander. So you have a lot of good options. You don't need to spend a lot of money. The great thing about EDH is a lot of the cards are not really used anymore, and you can get them out of the dollar bin or the $2 to $5 rack, or whatever your local gaming store has. You don't need to spend a lot of money. If you go the first way I said and get a pre-constructed deck, you're talking about $34.99, and then maybe another $20 to get it up and running good the way you like it initially, and then add more cards as time goes on. So that is my video for today. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And if you have any, if you're watching this and have advice for anyone else that I did not include in this deck, so please leave it in the comments, and maybe I'll do a version 2 later and include everything in my video. And have a great day.